Welcome to Longevity Codes with your host, Fred Herbert. This podcast is about living a longer, healthier, and more active life. Each week, Fred shares strategies from experts about not only living longer, but helping us discover our personal longevity codes to live life to the fullest. This podcast is sponsored by RedoxLongevity.com, where we'll discover what experts are calling the most amazing breakthrough in our lifetime that affects health, anti-aging, and sports performance. Learn more at RedoxLongevity.com. That's www.RedoxLongevity.com. And now, here's our host, Fred Herbert.
In this podcast, we'll be talking about what is being called the health, longevity, and anti-aging breakthrough of our lifetime. And what is this amazing breakthrough? Redox signaling molecules. For years, scientists have been trying to understand how the human cell works and what causes them to become damaged, disease, and bottom line, how we age. Two scientists won the Nobel Prize in 1998 for their discovery of redox signaling molecules. They looked at how redox signaling molecules activates our antioxidants and signals the genes in our cells to combat cellular stress and fight off bacteria and viruses. Many diseases are caused by cellular stress or oxidative stress. Try to name a disease that's not related to cellular damage in some way. What's cancer but just rogue cells? The National Library of Medicine said this about the diseases linked to oxidative stress. Quote, "Though oxygen is imperative for life, imbalanced metabolism and excess reactive oxygen species generation end into a range of disorders such as Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, aging, and many other neural disorders. Toxicity of free radicals contributes to proteins and DNA injury, inflammation, tissue damage, and subsequent cellular apoptosis." The list of diseases continue to grow, and I found many PubMed articles showing the connection with diabetes and heart disease, along with the Parkinson's and Alzheimer's I just mentioned. In past podcasts, you heard me say that we have 75 trillion cells in our body, and if they're not healthy, we're not healthy. Our bodies were designed with the most complex communication network on Earth. Any breakdown in this communication will keep us from achieving our full health and healing potential. A simple analogy I heard that really demonstrates this is to imagine your home is on fire and you call the fire department. They have everything they need to fight your fire: the fire truck, firefighters, the fire hose, and they have all the skill and resources necessary to put out your fire. But because of a weak phone signal, they don't get the message and your home goes up in flames. Most of the health and wellness industry is focused on the fire truck. For example, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, exotic juices, and pharmaceuticals. We must provide our bodies with the resources that are so critical for this cell signaling, allowing your body to achieve its full health and healing potential. What is this powerful resource? Well, as mentioned earlier, it's redox signaling molecules. Redox signaling molecules are native to our body, and they're made up of the salt water found inside our cells. The problem is that after puberty, we lose about 10% of our capacity to make these molecules every decade or so. My body now makes less than half of what it did when I was a kid, which explains why I don't recover from illness or physical activity like I used to. What's great is there's now a way to supplement and increase our supply. I'll tell you more about that later. I'm often asked, is this science for real? Well, not only has a couple of scientists been given a Nobel Prize for their discovery, there's now a lot of activity in the scientific community studying redox signaling. Dr. Gary Samuelson, PhD, who stabilized the world's first redox molecule, says, quote, "James Watson, who discovered the helical structure of DNA, has now dedicated himself to redox signaling and is asking for billions of dollars in research on this subject. He says that redox signaling and the technologies that will come forth from it is more important than his discovery of DNA, end quote. Speaking of James Watson, it's also interesting that he's been quoted recently as saying that type 2 diabetes is a redox disease. Redox molecules were once thought to simply be a byproduct of our mitochondria energy production. And there's now over 15,000 peer-reviewed articles and 1,200 books explaining how redox signaling molecules are involved in virtually every major body system and function. In short, they are key to cellular rejuvenation and renewal and foundational to healthy cell signaling throughout our body. Recently, I went to check it out on PubMed, which is one of the most trusted sources for scientific and medical research. I typed in redox signaling and found over 18,000 publications. Redox signaling is real science, no doubt about that. Another question often asked is what health issues could be caused by our cells not communicating properly? The fact is our genes are the blueprints and instructions for health throughout our body. But we live in a world full of environmental toxins that stress our genes and turning them off with catastrophic results. Here's some of the U.S. statistics, but these issues are worldwide. 50 million Americans suffer from autoimmune challenges. 54 million suffer from inflammatory conditions. 1 in 3 deaths in America are connected to cardiovascular disease, and 57% of the U.S. population suffer from digestive disorders. Wouldn't it be fantastic then if there was a way to supplement and get more redox signaling molecules into our bodies? Well, the exciting news is there is. The challenge was that redox signaling molecules were so highly reactive and fleeting in nature, and for a long time science had declared it impossible to stabilize these molecules outside the body. It took almost 2 decades and tens of millions of dollars for research, but a group of scientists led by the atomic medical physicist Dr. Samuelson achieved the impossible. For the first time ever, they created and stabilized these powerful redox signaling molecules outside the body. They started with nothing more than salt water, same as what's found inside our cells, and by passing it through a complex, heavily patented 3-day process, the salt water is broken down and then restructured into trillions of these redox signaling molecules. And this process launched a company that has exclusive redox signaling technology, meaning they have no competition. Please make no mistake about it, it's not a bottle of salt water. It's a bottle with trillions of these vital redox signaling molecules that just happen to be made from salt and water. Another common question is there any proof that this works? Keep in mind that taking this redox signaling molecule supplement is not a treatment or a cure for any disease or medical condition. However, in a recent 8-week study, this supplement was shown to activate 5 important gene signaling pathways by up to 31%, which in turn can positively impact 5 major areas of our health. It can improve our immune system health, help maintain a healthy inflammatory response, helps us maintain cardiovascular health and support arterial elasticity. It can improve our digestive health and modulate hormone balance. And this is really only scratching the surface. For example, just one of these genes tested can influence 15 additional pathways, including those involving insulin signaling, thyroid, hormones, as well as spinal cord injuries. But for now, let's just focus on antioxidant health. Medical experts worldwide agree that oxidative stress is the #1 health risk factor, and NRF2 signaling pathway is critical to the production and activation of our body's master antioxidants, glutathione and the superoxide dismutase. These antioxidants are many times more powerful than those found in fruits and berries. In earlier studies, it was shown that it could boost these powerful antioxidants by up to 800%, as well as lowering oxidized LDL and oxidized DNA. What's interesting is that although there are no antioxidants in this product with redox signaling molecules, its impact on antioxidant health is amazing. Another thing I find interesting is how many world-class athletes are using redox signaling molecule supplementation, how they've noticed they can go farther, faster, longer, harder, and seen improvements with their endurance, strength, and recovery. They even mention improved mental activity and focus. Well, you know how scientists love to test things on mice. Well, in a recent university study, they had mice drinking Redox signaling molecules for just 7 days, and it increased their endurance by 29%. And you can be sure that mice don't run 29% further for nothing. World-class athletes from around the world are now achieving their personal bests and breaking world records, and many credit their improved performance to Redox signaling molecules. There are Olympic swimmers to record-breaking triathletes and Ironmen, and all the way to masters athletes who are 60, 65, and 70 years of age. They start to refuel their cells with more of these molecules like they had when they were younger. And as a result, they begin to perform like they did when they were younger. There is not a serious athlete in any sport that couldn't benefit from supplementing with Redox signaling molecules. And I've personally seen it make a huge difference for me. It now takes a lot more effort for me to get to my maximum heart rate during interval training, which is a good thing, and I recover faster. My once extreme joint pain is now gone. I sleep better, and my mood is better. By now, I'm sure you're as excited as I am and want to know more about Redox signaling molecule supplementation, and you may even want to try it for yourselves. Like I mentioned earlier, the company that figured out how to stabilize these molecules and put them in a form we could drink or apply has an extremely complicated and patented process. What's exciting about their Redox signaling molecule products is that after millions of dollars spent on studies, this technology has proven to be 100% safe with 0 levels of toxicity. And there's no other source anywhere for getting these Redox signaling molecules in a supplement form. If you want to learn more about this amazing technology and how it will help you break the longevity codes, go to www.redoxlongevity.com. We talked about Dr. Gary Samuelson earlier, who's the atomic medical physicist. When talking about how they were able to stabilize Redox signaling molecules into the form we supplement, he states, quote, "This technology has the potential to spearhead the greatest advances in health we have ever seen." End quote. The fact that hundreds of medical professionals and thousands of lives change would certainly also lead you to the conclusion that Redox signaling molecules is without a doubt one of the most significant health science breakthroughs of our time. As I always say, our physical health is dependent on our cellular health. There's no better way to help our health than to make sure our cells are communicating and rebuilding properly. You owe it to yourself to check this technology out. Redox signaling molecule supplementation is my top longevity code breaking strategy. This will lead us towards cellular health and anti-aging. Remember, longevity is not just about adding quantity, but rather have quality to those extra years. And here's my definition of quality. I want to be mentally sharp. I want to have the ability to do fun things with my grandkids and still be active when I have great grandkids. I want to be able to travel throughout the world with my wife, and we don't want to be a burden to our children. I also want to have the ability to be active in my church and with my friends, and bottom line, live a life of purpose and meaning. Come back next week when together we'll crack another longevity code.
Thanks for listening to Longevity Codes. For more information, go to longevitycodes.com. To learn more about our sponsor, check out redoxlongevity.com. Tune in to next week's podcast, where you'll learn more strategies on living a longer, healthier, and more active life.